Ayan. So, good afternoon guys. I decided na gumawa ng video para sa lesson natin for you to review as well. Hindi na lang muna tayo mag-video call para naman makapag-concentrate kayo sa pagpapanood na lang nung video na i-prepare ko for our lesson. If you have any questions, of course, you may ask me in the group chat para naman hindi tayo magkaroon ng confusion. So let's have a review siguro ng ating existential therapy. So as I discussed last time, of course, existential therapy was introduced to us by Viktor Frankl, who actually introduced yung ating A Man's Search for Meaning, yung librong A Man's Search for Meaning. Rollo May and Irvin Yalom, of course, they actually introduced to us several books about existential therapy. Okay, so we also um, we also reflect about the quotation na no relationship can eliminate existential isolation, but aloneness can be shared in such a way that love compensates for its pain. So, kumbaga, nakita natin dito, we shared our different thoughts about this, and at the same time, syempre, nakikita natin na, of course, it is important for us to know that sometimes we need to be alone. However, of course, may mga times din na kailangan rin ng love in order for us to alleviate the pain. That's according to existential therapy. Ayan. So, here are some definitions of the existential therapy. So, number one, we have it is a it is more of a way of thinking or an attitude about psychotherapy than a particular style of practicing psychotherapy. So, as I told you earlier, syempre, as future guidance counselors or future psychologists, we need to learn how to become eclectic. So, kapag sinabi natin eclectic, of course, we need to use different techniques in order for us to again, help our future clients. Kasi nga, syempre, hindi lang naman tayo magfo-focus sa isang technique kasi nga, syempre, we have different clients. Then, our clients have different personalities. Kaya, syempre, kailangan rin natin maging eclectic or we need to adjust in order for us to help our clients. So, it's more of a way of thinking. So, titignan natin kung paano nga ba mag-isip ang mga existential therapists later. So, it's neither an independent nor separate school of therapy, nor is it a clearly defined model with specific techniques. So, in this one, of course, kung makikita natin sa CBT or sa REBT or even sa psychoanalytic therapy, we have specific steps to follow in order for us to help our clients. Pero dito sa existential therapy, of course, wala masyado. But of course, we're focusing more on the different philosophies of the different clients then. Okay, next. Existential therapy can best be described as a philosophical approach. Gaya ng sinabi ko kanina, it's a philosophical approach that influences a counselor's therapeutic practice. Isa sa mga tinanong sa amin ng instructor namin sa psychotherapy last time noon was that is it important for you to be religious or is it more important for you to be a spiritual person? Okay, so there's a difference between being religious and of course being spiritual. And of course, maraming nag-argue kung ano nga ba ang difference noon, of course. Pero ang main na objective niya kung bakit niya tinanong yung question na yun is syempre it is important for us to become spiritual or basically believing in something that is more powerful than us. Ayan, that's one of the philosophies of existential therapy. So, existential therapy is an attitude towards human suffering that has no manual. It asks deep questions about the nature of human beings and the nature of anxiety, despair, grief, loneliness, isolation, and anomie. It also deals centrally with the question of meaning, creativity, and love. So dito makikita natin na we will be asking different deep questions, mga malalalim na question na it's also applicable for you, especially nowadays. Ngayon nga na hinaharap natin tong COVID-19, sometimes ngayon na nasa loob tayo ng bahay natin, parang we're questioning ano nga bang magagawa ko sa buhay ko. At the same time, ano nga ba talagang ginagawa ko dito sa mundo? Bakit ganito yung mga nangyayari, etc., etc. We're going to ask the different questions about the givens of life na that's according to existential therapy. Dito sa existential therapy, clients are invited to reflect on life. Ayan, ano. At the same time, to recognize their range of alternatives. Siyempre, kailangan rin nilang tignan yung mga different alternatives nila and of course, to decide among themselves. In existential therapy, of course, there is an existential movement that stands for the respect for the person, for exploring new aspects of human behavior, and for divergent methods of understanding people. Ayan. So, ito yung mga different na tinatanong ng mga clients natin later on. Who am I? Sino nga ba ako? Ano nga bang ginagawa ko sa mundong ito? What can I hope for? Ano nga ba ang meron pa bang pag-asa? Yan, marami nagtatanong ngayon, especially ngayon meron tayong COVID-19. Ano pa nga bang pag-asa natin na maging okay ang lahat kung hindi pa rin natatanggal ang COVID-19? Ayan. What can I do now? Ano nga bang pwede kong gawin? Meron nga ba akong pwedeng gawin para maiwasan tong mga naiisip ko ngayon? What ought I to do? Where am I going? Etc. etc. So, here are the basic human conditions according to the existential therapy. Of course, we have number one, the capacity for self-awareness. We're going to discuss this one by one. Number two, freedom and responsibility. Number three, creating one's identity and establishing meaningful relationships with others. Number four, the search for meaning, purpose, values, and goals. Number five, anxiety as a condition of living. So, according to existential therapy, importante daw ang anxiety. And lastly, of course, awareness of death and non-being. Okay, so let's discuss first yung ating capacity for self-awareness. So, according to our book, it's composed of the different things. We have freedom, choice, and responsibility that constitutes our self-awareness. So, as we increase our capacity to live fully, as we expand our awareness in the following areas. So, number one, we are finite and do not have unlimited time to do what we want in life. Ayun, sometimes may mga nagtatanong na, ano ba yan? Ba't kulang yung oras ko? Kulang yung ba't di ko magawa lahat ng mga gusto ko? Ayan, we need to let our clients know na syempre, they should be aware din na we have a finite and at the same time, wala tayong unlimited time according to existential therapy. Number two, we have the potential to take action or not to act. Again, gaya ng sinabi ko last meeting, when you take an action, of course, it's a decision. It's your decision. Pero if you do not take an action, it's also your decision. Ayan, sabi ko nga last time, no, you must take personal responsibility. You cannot change the circumstances, the seasons, or the wind, pero syempre, but you can change yourself. We choose our actions and therefore we can partially create our own destiny. Meaning is the product of discovering how we are thrown or situated in the world and then through commitment, living creatively. So, in discovering the different meaning sa buhay natin, syempre, sometimes we need to experience the world as well. Ibig sabihin nito, sometimes kailangan muna natin ma-experience ang something in order for us to be committed dun sa isang bagay na yon. Like, for example, when I graduated my bachelor's degree, at the same time, syempre, took my master's Well, actually hindi ko naman alam talaga kung anong pupuntahan ko. Hindi ko naman alam kung magiging psychologist ba or anything like that. Pero I just went with the flow, sabihin na natin ganun. And then eventually, of course, I became committed na kailangan kong matapos ito. Kailangan kong mapuntahan ito in order for me to get what I want or get yung goal ko sa life ko. Ayan. So, of course, according to existential therapy nga, syempre, sometimes we are thrown sa isang situation and then eventually we get committed doon sa situation na yon in order for us to to live creatively. So next is of course as we increase our awareness of the choices available to us, we also increase our sense of responsibility for the consequences of these choices. Makikita natin na yes, sometimes we are not really aware kung ano nga ba yung mga choices na binibigay sa atin. Sometimes gaya ngayong meron tayong crisis, 'di ba? We could choose na hindi nyo panoorin tong video na sinend ko sa inyo, or you could also choose na to watch this in order for you to learn more about existential therapy. At the same time, through that, of course, through the different choices that are made available for us, eventually, hopefully, we increase our sense of responsibility para sa mga consequences na ginagawa natin about our choices. Next is, of course, we are subject to loneliness, meaninglessness, and emptiness, guilt, and isolation. According to existential therapy, it is important for us to recognize that sometimes we might feel alone, we might feel some meaninglessness in our lives, emptiness, guilt, and isolation. It is important for us to recognize those para naman later on, para naman mas maayos natin yung life natin. Sometimes we need to have some alone time, 'di ba? May mga instances na sinasabi niyo sa mga sa mga ka-relationship ninyo or sa mga ibang mga tao na I need some alone time. Kailangan ko muna maging alone para makapag-isip. 'Di ba? So, basically siguro 'yun yung message sa atin nung existential therapy, which is that syempre sometimes we need to feel alone in order for us to siguro think about the things that we need to do. Sabi pa nga ng existential therapist that we are basically alone. Ayan. Yet, we have an opportunity to relate to other beings. So, yes, sometimes we feel alone, pero eventually, syempre, importante rin na kailangan natin makipag-relate sa mga ibang tao. Gaya nga ng sa term na binigay sa atin ni Alfred Adler, yung Gemeinschaftsgefühl or the social interest. Diba? Sometimes, yes, we have the need to feel alone, pero sometimes naman kailangan rin natin makipaghalubilo sa ibang tao in order for us to, well, to be more fulfilled at the same time. Siguro we could actually share our thoughts with our friends as well. Ayan.